Yeah, because like as far as I can tell, a good 75% of people, if not more, they get the brand new iPhone. They're like, oh, look how thin it is, and look at the new screen. Now let me just cover up in crap, so now it doesn't look anything like why I bought it in the first place. Whenever I answer the phone, I'm like, hello.
What pissed you off?
It's a great argument to have.
I love my mom, but I think she's half crazy for doing that.
How dare you?
Do you work with your girlfriend, Mark? Or your wife, Mark?
I keep them separated. Sometimes I call people, they don't answer the phone, I'm like, them.
Wrong number, click.
Well, he's not that smart, but sometimes he sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Go.
Therefore, you're an ass, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, but what do we know?
Okay, welcome everyone to, actually, where's Mike? Oh, Mike's not here.
Oh, Mike's not here.
Good free.
Yeah, Mike's cutting down a tree or something, so he can't be with us today. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't really add to the show, so.
But you know, what do we know? So, oh, see what I did right there?
Oh, that's true. That's a good job.
So yeah, Mike is out of town for the holiday weekend and got delayed in being able to get back and join the recording. So it's just Mark and I today.
Yay.
Which is awkward. We don't talk to each other very well.
So, Jeff, how was your week?
Week's good. But you said you had some topic to talk about regarding your phone. And I'm curious to hear what this is, because we've been delaying it for a while, trying to get this whole recording thing working, but whatever.
So, I finally broke down and bought a smartphone. But of course, I didn't want to pay full price, so I did what the smart people do.
Craigslist in Japan?
You know, I actually found it on Amazon.com, but it's a used one, so the retailer sells it for a cheaper price. And I went online to make sure that the telephone company, named SoftBank, not a bank, I don't know exactly why it's called SoftBank, but anyways.
SoftBank, the phone company. Also, you can give us your money, when you will not accrue any interest. Or ever see it again.
And so I bought the model phone that they sell. And as far as I could tell, it was the exact same model, because this is only where you could buy this phone as far as I can tell. Like, you can't buy this phone from any of their competitors. So I finally, I paid like $100 for it, not too much. And I had the biggest issue with SIM cards. So explain to me how SIM cards work, at least to you.
Well, so you got to remember, SIM cards deal with the GSM network, not the CDMA network. Sprint and Sprint and Verizon here in the U.S. are still on the CDMA network, so they don't use SIM cards directly. GSM phones are the ones that use them, and when they do use them, what you're supposed to be able to do is swap them in and out. Just swap it in, it works.
Right. And the SIM card carries your information. So in Japan, you actually have to register any SIM card that you have. So they say for corruption purposes or like crime that if somebody buys a phone, they can't use it as a burner phone. It basically tracks who uses which SIM card belongs to which phone, who's using it.
Okay.
So I had to like register with my foreign card and my passport and give them all my information. And so I paid $30 for a SIM card, which is extremely expensive for a SIM card. But
does the SIM card come with minutes or?
No, this is just for the phone.
Just to purchase the SIM card.
Yeah, and I had to spend extra money to put money on the SIM card, and it doesn't work on this phone.
What does it say?
It says like incompatible SIM card or.
So basically, what you're talking about is it's locked to a carrier, and you're not on the carrier.
Right, but this phone doesn't actually have a carrier. Okay, so it's not locked.
But
at
it's
all.
also. I was gonna say, or is it locked? But it's just to a carrier that doesn't exist.
Well, see, so I unrooted the phone.
Don't unroot the phone, Mark.
I mean, I rooted the phone, and I checked for the carrier.
Here's your problem. Well, I unrooted the phone and added lock feature back to it. Now I can't do anything.
So, and then I went through and manually tried to input the SoftBank SIM information, and it won't work. And I went to SoftBank, and as far as I can tell, it won't work on this phone because this particular brand of phone comes in two models, a 3G phone and a 3G 4 and slash 4G phone.
Right.
And because this is the 3G slash 4G phone, it won't work.
So I'm confused though. Like, so it's the company you bought it from.
Yes.
They just basically said no, that won't work.
Yes. As far as I can tell, they prevent this model of phone from working through their network. I don't know exactly how they do it, but it won't recognize the SIM card on this phone. So now I have $100
Paperweight
Oh, it's not paperweight. It still works as a
camera.
like a touch, like an iPod Touch or something like that. So I can play games and camera, and I actually have been using it for a camera, so it's not a complete waste. But it sort of just pisses me off because now I have to carry a phone and this phone just to be able to make calls and stuff. And it just
Well, I'm confused though. I mean, if it's an unlocked phone
yes,
that should be able to be used, your cell phone company supposedly. I don't know, because like here, if you had T-Mobile and you just threw in an AT&T, well, T-Mobile is AT&T.
Right.
If you threw in another GSM carrier's phone here in America, it doesn't work unless the phone is unlocked to be able to go to other carriers. And I had to deal with the same thing with my phone to go to, it's a CDMA phone, but it does have a SIM card slot. And when I was just in France, I wanted to make sure my phone was unlocked for international use so that you
Right.
can actually do that. So I went through I talked to the phone company and everything, and they said they were going to send me, take some 24 to 48 hours to send you the instructions for what to do with it, which is really weird why they couldn't just be
Just do
like,
it
here you go,
instantly?
it's done. But they'll do it for you. It's just they send you instructions, but the instructions were literally place other carrier's SIM card in SIM card slot. Like, it wasn't even instructions on to do something to make it work. So I didn't quite get that, but I never ended up buying a SIM card in France. So I don't know what would have happened if I tried.
Do you think it would have just been like roaming charges if you called without the SIM card?
Yes.
That's what you were doing?
I didn't use it. I never turned. Left it on airplane mode the entire time I was in.
Oh, I see.
I was in France and just did Wi-Fi. Though Julia turned hers on and was roaming and actually didn't incur charges unless she answered a phone call. So
Oh.
people could call her and she could see that people were calling her, and it didn't. She says, I haven't looked at her statement. I don't look at her statement. I don't know, but she says it was fine.
So, but here's a weird thing. If I did have to, let's say, unlock this phone, I would have to unlock it from SoftBank to use it with SoftBank. So I don't know exactly what the
But
unlock would
that's the
work.
thing that I don't get is how can a company specifically have that phone not able to be.
Well, I think what happens is when I use the SIM card, and then it sends the information to the, let's say, antennas that would be the SoftBank telecommunications. They might get the information like this is whose SIM card it is, and then also which phone model it's being used at. And as far as I can tell, like SoftBank is selectively choosing not to allow 4G phone model smartphones to be working in Japan. But there was none of this stuff that I knew beforehand. So if you're in Japan right now and it's 2015, don't get a 4G phone, get a 3G phone.
I'm sure plenty of our viewers are running into the same problem as you, Mark.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're living in Japan, buying cheap SoftBank phones from shady internet websites.
And you know, it'd be one thing if I thought, well, maybe it's just not compatible because of 3G, 4G issue. But I mean, I can even just turn this phone to a 3G only phone. But 4G is compatible with 3G. It's like having a USB 2 not being compatible with a USB 1.
So, are you using the other SIM card in your other phone?
Yes.
And it works absolutely fine.
Yeah. But my phone is the pink clamshell one that my wife
Oh, that's
first came to
pretty,
Japan.
Mark. Why don't you bedazzle it?
And this also really annoys me because my initial thought is
Please explain. How does that phone annoy you, Mark? I'm not understanding.
I actually so we had a SIM card on this one, right? And I was going to transfer this SIM card to this phone. So when I did this, it locked the SIM card, which isn't a big deal because you could usually go to a carrier and have them unlock the SIM card.
Okay.
Okay. So I went to SoftBank and I was like, oh, I need this SIM card to be unlocked so I could put it in this phone.
Mm-hmm.
They said they can't do it because when my wife first came to Japan, the person that helped her set up the phone, for some whatever reason, put their name on the information for the SIM card, and therefore they refuse to unlock it unless that person's present, and that person's living in the bottom of Japan, and I'm in the middle of Japan, and we don't know how to contact them. So instead of just transferring, I had to pay for another $30 SIM card, and then also now that SIM card is useless to everyone.
So it's not the same SIM card in that pink phone. That won't work on the other one.
Right, and then I have to call my company and say oh everyone, I have a new phone number for no apparent reason.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's why the way the American cell phone companies work with the SIM cards, I think, is great because if you break your phone, you can just go pop it into a different phone. I don't like the way that Sprint and Verizon still do theirs because if I ever want to, if I break my phone, I have to call them and give them all the, IMEI numbers or whatever
Right.
and have them switch all the stuff over, and that does get kind of annoying. And it actually used to really make me mad. I don't know if it's the same anymore. One of the first phones that I bought, I purchased from Radio Shack. And Radio Shack used to have this great, replacement plan. If something went wrong with it, they would take the phone, they would send it to their factory and all this stuff. Problem is, they would send it to their factory for 2 weeks. So you'd either be out of a phone for a long period of time, or what I did at one point is I bought from Craigslist a cheap phone for $20 that I had sent my phone out, and before I did, I purchased this phone, and I called Sprint and had them transfer my stuff over to this other phone so that I could still receive phone calls. I remember at first the lady refused to do it because she's like, well, that phone's not a smartphone. It doesn't have internet capabilities and this, that, the other. And I was like, I don't need it to. I just needed to make phone calls while my other phone is gone. So she did something to make it finally work. But the problem is that was back in the days of the contracts that somehow reset my contract and they didn't tell me that. So
What?
yeah, exactly. She said since you switched phones, it's a reset in your contract. And I was like, but I didn't buy a phone from you. I didn't it was before the whole discount thing was all squared away. So I ended up having to have my phone for an extra year and a half before I could upgrade with the discounts because they somehow marked it up as a
Right.
discount.
Oh, so I think Verizon's also one of those companies, besides Comcast, that I really disliked when I was still living in the States. But here's something that I've sort of changed my opinion on how I use my phone. So I hardly ever use my phones for calling people. So right now I'm just using prepaid. And for me, that's the best system because, if I make one phone call, it's going to be for 5 minutes, and I do it maybe once a week at most. So with this prepay in Japan, they really hate prepay. It's about 100 yen, so about $1 a minute. So you're paying a huge premium.
Okay.
But for my wife and I, we don't call anybody. So usually the minutes last you have to pay $30 to get 30 minutes, and it lasts for two months, and you get free incoming calls. So that's what we do. I used to pay $50 back when I was still in high school, college for a Verizon phone, and I had the same habit. I would and I would call someone's like, "Hey, okay, let's do this," and then hang up, or "Hey, I'm here," then hang up. And I didn't have Sprint or anything with the carryover minutes, but I thought, well, this one comes with 120 minutes. This is the best plan, but I'm stuck with a 2-year contract, and I use like 2% of that. So, I mean, do you still use like what percentage of the minutes that you're allotted do you
So
think?
I only am allotted 500. I used to be allotted like 1,250, and sadly I'd go over them constantly and have to call up Sprint and ask them for. There was a way that you could ask them for blocks of 100 minutes for like $15 or something like that, and so you could cover your overage. It was really weird, but I'm down to 500 now, and I barely use any. But there's a couple reasons for that. One, text messaging, internet, you don't need to make as many phone calls. Two, everybody includes free wireless to wireless now here in America pretty much. So anybody I talk to is most likely always on wireless. So it's usually like my wireless minutes, a couple hundred minutes in it of unlimited. Of my 500, you've used 12 talking to, this one phone line, like hardline phone connection somewhere that I have to, make. So I use very little minutes, but the cell phone system has changed so much that pretty much most of the plans now are unlimited. Most plans don't have
Like talking minutes,
yeah.
or like, but not data minutes.
They claim to be unlimited data. Sprint is actually the only one left with truly unlimited data because everybody else is like 3 gigs and then it throttles.
Yeah.
I don't unfortunately ever look at my minutes or my data usage to know how close I would come to that. But like, because a lot of times if I'm streaming YouTube videos or something like that on my phone, I'm in a Wi-Fi connection.
Right.
So it's really hard to tell where would actually be a big cutoff for data.
Right. And in the States, it's not too bad that because you get actually a lot of places that have free Wi-Fi access.
Right. Right. Though Wi-Fi is another thing I want to talk about on cell phones. What really makes me mad is I'll be driving down the street. Well, I'll be riding passenger. Okay, I don't drive and do things on my phone. I'll be riding passenger down the street, and I'll be like, especially on Google Maps, I'll be mapping somewhere where I'm going,
Right.
and all of a sudden it'll be like, connection optimizer. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. So what happens is my phone will automatically try to connect to any open Wi-Fi networks that are around.
Yeah.
The problem is open Wi-Fi doesn't actually mean it's open Wi-Fi to the internet anymore. So they need to change that whole system because open Wi-Fi means, look, it's the guest network. We're on the guest network. Now you have to come accept our terms of service in order to actually move on to the internet. So it connects you to this network that your phone is telling you, hey, look, I'm online, but I can't get any data all of a sudden because we're really actually not through the terms of service wall yet. That drives me insane. I don't think it should be allowed to be considered. There should be a difference between an open network and an open network that requires a terms of service so that the phone would know what to connect to and what not to connect to. Like, that really makes me mad.
Yeah, or
First world problems, man. I know, it's crazy.
is there an option just to block? I mean, I guess you have to do it for every single carrier that does it, but like block Wi-Fi networks that.
You can block it from connecting to just like open Wi-Fi networks so it doesn't connect to them automatically, but it's more convenient to let it connect to them. The other weird thing is I can turn my Wi-Fi off because I'll sometimes see it and I'll be like, it's connected. I'm in this building. I all of a sudden can't get any of my emails. I realize it's because I'm connected to this Wi-Fi network that's not a true Wi-Fi network that I have to go input because some of them it's not even accept the terms of service. It's what is your username and password to connect to this network, like on a web page. And it's just like, well, I don't have that, obviously. Like, don't let me connect to you if I don't have that information. But I'll turn my Wi-Fi off, and like 4 minutes later, it turns itself back on.
You know what they need to do is, or someone to program is a program that just like pings like like let's say Google or something like that.
And if it doesn't hit it, it drops back out.
Right.
That wouldn't be bad. That'd be a cool little app to have. Though the phone must do that by default in some way though, because it brings up what's called the connection optimizer. And the connection optimizer is supposed to be able to automate getting you through these terms of service things. I don't quite know how it works because I don't hang out in a spot that has the terms of service that I need to accept on a
Right.
regular basis. But the phone must know that it can't get there.
So why?
Yeah, well, I keep connecting to it unless I tell you, like, I don't know. It's very strange. I'm probably missing, like, an obvious feature. There's probably a button that I could hit that's like, if it doesn't connect to the internet, go away.
Well, if you know, post down there
Yeah.
on YouTube. Oh, so okay. If what do you think about Windows now? Because Windows is supposed to bring out the new Windows 10 um, for the computer this summer, right? So
Right.
like in a month or 2 months or whatever, and it's supposed to be like a unified platform. So like with Google Chrome or those Chromebooks, I think Google is trying to like make sure like, oh, your laptop, your phone, all going to be under the same operating system. As far as I can tell, when Windows 10 comes out, uh, the computer laptops are supposed to have one kind of software, but as far as I can tell, their phones aren't going to have the same operating system. And I thought that was part of the point of Windows 10.
Oh, I haven't kept up on that stuff at all. So I have
Oh,
no idea what's happening with
well,
Windows 10. However, speaking of Google and Chrome and making everything the same, Google's recently updated their Chrome platform. Uh,
okay.
that I went to work and I was sitting at work on a computer, went to Google Chrome, and I signed into Google Chrome, and it ran through and started opening up everything that I had stored passwords for, everything that I had, like, it's just like this remote computer at work. Once I signed in, it installed every like add-on that I had to Chrome and just went crazy. And I tried to go to Gmail, and it wouldn't even go into my Gmail because Julia had sat at the computer at one point at home and signed herself in just to look at something on my Chromebook. So now everything was linked through her at work. Like, it just opened up her email account, and I was like, what the hell is happening right now?
Right.
That was super annoying. I will tell you, there's one point when you're going a little bit too far with this everything connected thing.
Yeah, the syncing.
I opened up Chrome at work, signed in so I could get to my email address, and all it did was port basically everything I've ever done on my Chromebook over to this remote tab at a, at a public location now. All my porn's popping up and playing everywhere. You know, my torrent downloads going on in the corner.
Right. Well, that's what happens to me at work too, and it's even compounded worse because I'm the only one that uses Chrome in my schools because they all use Internet Explorer still.
So they know who you are.
And even the newer Internet Explorer, just like Explorer like 9 or whatever the old version
It's still
was.
pretty bad.
Yeah. So, anyways, so whenever I log into Chrome, install Chrome, it asks me for the login, and I always refuse. And I like, there's ways to like sign in Gmail where it won't automatically sync it, and there's settings in Chrome where you could prevent it from syncing. But I really hate that about Chrome. Is that like you just sign in your Gmail and then all your bookmarks are on Chrome, and there's like you have to manually delete everything or
Mhm.
uninstall Chrome and then reinstall if you want it back to being.
I couldn't believe it brought over my stored passwords. And that was the thing that really threw me off, is because if I now signed into Chrome at work, every site that I have a stored password for, anybody could access if I didn't sign out of Chrome. And
Right.
in signing out of Chrome was trouble enough in itself, because it kept me on there as a person, like, on this list of people to choose from, everybody who signed in. And it was hard as hell to get myself deleted from there because it was like this new update that I didn't know about. So it took me a while to find the right spot to do it. That was feeling a little bit intrusive just because I was now in a public place and I didn't want all my information out there.
I also hate like a lot of websites. Like it's sometimes convenient to just log in with, let's say, Facebook or Google Plus or whatever. But like a lot of times when you sign up that way, they'll say, "Well, we need information. Like, we'll have to have access to your images and your whatever
Mhm.
things that sync in with your account." And half the time, I'm like, "Why? Like, I'm just going to use it to send an email or
Yeah,
you,
and don't you love how it's a yes or no?
yeah, there's
It's
no
we need access to all of this stuff, or no, you can't use this at all. It's like I can't just choose like do not look at my images, do not look at this, do not look at that. It's we need access to everything or F you. Like that's all there is to it.
Well, yeah, and that's why you have to create like a fake uh, Google account or some or a Facebook account
Harry
where
Johnson.
yeah, where like because I'll be on a website and I'll be like, oh, let me leave a comment, and then it's like, oh no, we need to log in with like you can't use your email account sometimes. They're like, oh, you gotta log in with Facebook or Google Plus, and I'm like, screw it. I guess I don't have an opinion anymore.
My opinion has been pushed down deep inside, all because I wouldn't log in. Can you imagine if the presidency was like that? I'm going to run for president. Sign in with Facebook. Screw that. Somebody else can run the country.
Oh, and this is another thing that I've been thinking about. If you want to be a very horrible person,
Go
so
on.
yeah, so basically all our listeners, basically you can if you as soon as you find someone's email address, you can really screw up their email to the point where they have to like get a new email
If
address.
you just
Like
go sign up for a bunch of things under their
yeah,
email.
yeah, just sign up a whole bunch of stuff, appropriate or not even appropriate, like because like my Gmail account, I hardly ever give out my email address, but you know, you do it for one or two, and then you start getting spam. And then I've been trying to,
You'll get spam whether you give it out or not.
right, but I like, well, because when you use like a program like the Android phone or whatever,
Mhm.
and you use the Gmail app, every single time you get a spam or you get like a message, it'll start vibrating, and it really annoys the hell out of me because I open it up, oh, stuff I don't care about.
So the one thing that I can't figure out with my phone and notifications is I finally got it to turn off like emails. Don't show me and don't blink a light. Don't do anything for the emails. Every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, Facebook updates me with whose birthday it is. And I have not been able to figure out how on earth to change that particular thing. It's the only thing that really bothers me on the phone because I still want, if you give me a Facebook Messenger, sure, send that to my phone so I know that somebody's trying to get in contact with me. The only update that comes through is randomly the guess who has birthdays today, and I can't figure out how to turn that one off. And it's at like 8 o'clock every single morning.
It has to be in the morning
It
too.
has to be in the morning too. Like, and think if it's 8 o'clock for me, I mean, is it going through at 5 o'clock in the morning for somebody in California, or does it base it on timeline and know that, or like location and know that it's not going to send it to me until 8? And why 8? If it's 8 o'clock, why 8 o'clock? Like, so I don't
Right.
forget. Is that why?
So as soon as you wake up, you're like, "Oh, morning, honey, and happy birthday."
And happy birthday. Like, morning, honey. Hold on. Oh, and happy birthday. Like, have to check that phone first to find out.
Or, "Oh, son of a happy birthday." Like, I go back to sleep.
Your birthday again? Crap.
My dream. Yeah. Actually, I really don't like the new Facebook Messenger, and I hate it mostly because I had like a Facebook app before,
Mhm.
right, on the phone, and then it won't let you send messages. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
it lets you send messages beforehand, before this app came out.
It did. If the Facebook app itself used to let you send messages straight from it, and then they changed over to the Messenger app. I'm not sure if it's like a memory issue, like maybe it was getting to be too much on like having Facebook and Messenger all running at the same time. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know. So, anyways, so now I deleted both because it was annoying me too much. So I just go on to like the a browser on my phone to go through Facebook, and it's 10 times more annoying than it has to be. But I really don't like the Facebook app. But now I'm like Mike. Now that he's not here, like oh, this new technology.
So, are you talking about for Messenger or for Facebook itself?
So for Messenger, because I mean, for Facebook, I actually would probably just want it for Messenger, but I don't like how it just pops up whatever I'm doing with that little picture icon.
Oh, yes. The picture is... So, this is funny, too, is a friend of mine had changed her picture. She went and got, like, this photo shoot thing done, and so she had all these, like, really gorgeous pictures of herself, like, dresses, makeup, and all that, and one of them was her laying on a bed in this dress, like this very seductive looking picture, but she changed it to her own profile picture. She embraced it for herself. The problem is, if she ever messaged me on Facebook, I now had this picture of this girl sitting here like in the middle of my screen in this very seductive pose, and no matter what she sent to me, because a lot of times it was just asking me, she was a girl at my fire station, just asking me if I was going to be at the station or whatever that night, because we swap on and off in driving, and I always would look at it and be like, no matter who you are, and I know what the message says behind here, but I'm even thinking, what is this girl trying to say to me right now? Can you imagine if, like, Julia grabbed the phone and was like, who is this girl? Like,
Yeah. So, honey, seriously, I was reading this article and this picture popped up.
was right in the middle of it, I swear. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything.
So, it's sort of annoying because now I have to carry two phones, one for phoning, one for
For phoning. We're
yeah.
going to have a new verb that should have been a very old verb that it's called phoning.
So, but one of the things that's happening in Japan right now is
No. I can't talk. I'm phoning right now.
they're switching over back from using the smartphone to using the flip phone. And I'm
Really?
not exactly 100% sure why, but I think the main reason is smartphones have the worst freaking battery life for no reason.
Well,
And
I don't think it's for no reason, but
Well, the reason why I say no reason is in China, I just found out they have a new smartphone where the battery life lasts for about 3 days. And it's still pretty a relatively thin phone, and it actually comes with two batteries. So when you swap out the battery in the back, it doesn't shut off the phone. So you could, like, let's say, oh, like my battery's about to die, I'm going to swap the battery, and it'll still work. And I think it's like not that expensive, like 300 whatever, but it's only for phones in China. And I trying to figure out why Apple and Samsung, why they took out a lot of the features that I think people want in phones.
I didn't know that Samsung took the battery feature out for the 6 Edge until just recently. Like, because Julia has one of those, and I didn't know until talking to somebody else that you can't swap the battery in it. Granted, as complaining as I've done about Apple for not making the battery accessible, I've never owned an Apple phone. I've never swapped the battery in this phone. I never swapped the battery in my phone before that either. So maybe it's a feature that I'm complaining about that really doesn't have a need for. Like, I get if something happens and the battery goes bad, I need to get a new battery, or I want to get a second battery. I get it, but I haven't done it in 5 years with a phone. So maybe it's not a needed feature?
Well, when I used to have, like, when I use the flip phone, that I charge it once a week. And because I don't actually talk on the phone, it lasts the whole week without an issue. With the smartphones, if I use the game or do anything really intensive with it, it lasts about 3 hours before it dies, which I think is not that great. It said that the Chinese phone, it lasts about, I think 8 or 9 hours if you just use continuously for watching videos or something like that. So that's pretty good.
I mean,
but
that's really good. I wonder what they're doing different. If it's just if it's a whole different, like, way the phone works, or is it just they made a better battery, or like a,
I think they just like the whole back, like you know how you have a phone and the back it's usually just plastic or
Mhm.
whatever. I think they probably have a backing that's mostly just battery.
Okay.
So you because usually on an iPhone you have like the small area that's actually the battery.
Hmm.
Have some other parts here. They probably have like one that's a small battery and then one that's just like a full battery in the back. I would assume. But the battery's not the biggest issue for me. I'm just saying that's one of the issues. SD cards, I think, is my biggest complaint for newer smartphones that I was looking into different phones to buy, and I specifically bought this one because newer smartphones they don't allow you to add your own SD
Well, it's
cards.
probably because they want to sell you the more expensive model. That's why originally I never understood why people wanted like the Android, because I don't remember if the iPhone lets you do it in the first place, but it was like you can buy the 8 gig, the 16 gig, it's the 32 gig, or the 64 gig, and it was like hundreds of dollars difference. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna buy the smallest one and put a big SD card in there, and that's exactly what I did, and I never even came close to running out of space.
Right. And and I know they're doing it at a premium, and it wouldn't piss me off as much. But going from 8 gigs to 16 gigs costs like $100,
Hmm.
and you're adding 8 gigs.
Hmm.
From 16 to 32, you're adding twice as much, costs $100. It's like, wait, how does that work? Where you buy double the amount of
It's like
memory,
buying in
and
bulk, man. If you buy in bulk, that's why I shop at Costco. Buy in bulk, it's cheaper by the unit.
why can't I just buy an 8 gig and had a add a 64 gig, and if it's only $100 more, just go straight to 64.
Yeah, I still things like Apple, the iPhone, the iPad, GoPros. I was watching Shark Tank yesterday, and they had the GoPro guy on it. Yeah, he has a special shark. He's been on it a few times.
Hmm.
And GoPro is still a company that I just don't understand. How can you have an idea to make a camera that already exists and make billions of dollars because you made a better camera than the next person out there? Like, it's such a small increase and jump that how the public, and it's all based on if the public gets on board with it or not.
Right.
The public got on board with GoPro, and I own a GoPro. I like my GoPro for applications that I use it in. However, I can see a lot of design flaws with the GoPro and why it would be way better to be in a different shape, things like that.
Or
So
like more touch, like
yeah, because
more.
there's 3 buttons on the thing and a screen that doesn't show you what's happening. It's just a screen that shows you like this pixelated like menu system that you can go through,
Right.
or you can connect to it from your phone. And on your phone, you have this nice menu system that you can run through and change all this stuff. But it's this big bulky square.
Right.
You can put like they have the circle ones that people wear on their like helmet cams that have a very similar picture quality and are much smaller and easier to mount somewhere. Whereas the GoPro is like you're locked into using their mounts because of the fact of just the size and the shape of the thing. It's a great recording device. I get that it's got a lot of good features, but there's a lot of design flaws. It's like, but like I said, it's all about public getting on board, and the public got on board, so therefore it took off. The iPhones, you still got the crazy people that want the newest and best and biggest iPhone, and I still
Right.
can't grasp how you can buy an iPhone 6 months ago and then spend $600 or $700 to upgrade when the new one comes out. I don't
But we have
get it.
friends that used to do that with computers as well. Like,
True.
oh, I'll buy the newest graphics card. And one of our friends, I don't know exactly where his logic was, but he's like, I bought this for $800, and I sold it for like $300, and then so this one that I'm buying is $300 less. I'm like, no, you spent this amount of money.
Yeah.
You're not saving any money when you're swapping it out. Yes, I understand that you got some of your money back, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you would too always be like, I bought this new monitor and it only cost me $100. I'm like, holy crap, that thing retails for like 400. How'd you do that? He's like, oh, I sold my other one for 300. I'm like, but you bought it for 600 like 2 months ago. Like,
Yeah.
your math isn't making sense to me. It's like people we know going to the casino who won $500. They spent $1,000 to do it, but in their minds they won $500. So they came out negative 500, but somehow still won.
Well, when you lose only 50% of your money, that's winning.
That is that. I mean, sometimes that is true. Sometimes that's true. I guess
So,
if you allot yourself, if you're a gambler and you want to allot yourself, like, this is my gambling money, I plan
right.
on spending all this today. Anything I don't spend is considered profit. Okay, I mean, I guess I can see the logic, sort of, but
Well, I mean, it's better than my gambling addiction, which is I go to the arcade and I play arcade games for an hour, and then I lose like $20.
you have enough tickets to buy an eraser.
But basically, I do it because I have fun doing it. And people who gamble, I don't know exactly how they have fun doing it, but they do. So if we both end up $20 short, I mean, who's to say which one's better? Now, although it would be very hard for me to become like, $500 short in a couple of hours playing video games, but there's no chance for me actually gaining money as
Oh
well.
no, have you seen the price of video games lately? It's like
Yeah.
7 quarters for 15 seconds of play.
So, anyways, I was talking about phone. We got the battery, you got the SD card,
The charger. Don't forget the charger.
the charger. But like a lot of the phones, they come with waterproofing, like the Luminas. I think they were
Yeah.
waterproof,
Mine theoretically is waterproof.
and also the toughness of the phones. Now, the reason why like waterproofing, I think all electronics should be waterproof. I don't understand why necessarily they can't be waterproof, but okay, we'll put that aside for the moment. Why don't they make like stronger phones?
Because
And
then they wouldn't sell OtterBoxes.
well, yeah, because like as far as I can tell, a good 75% of people, if not more, they get the brand new iPhone. They're like, oh, look how thin it is, and look at the new screen. Now let me just cover it up in crap, so now it doesn't look anything like why I bought it in the first place.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, I guess you are hiding a lot of. I lost our pictures. Okay, we're back. Technical difficulties are solved. So, anyways, you were speaking of something
so,
with phones.
so when you have a so when you have a phone, right? You get the new phone.
Oh, how
and
you cover up its beauty.
yeah, because I mean, one of the big things they said about Samsung is we don't like the Samsung plastic covers. Like, so when they switch back to like pure aluminum, whatever, and then people are like, oh, it's so much better now that it's aluminum. Now let me put my rubber cover or plastic cover on top of it. I don't see the point then.
I mean, I guess I get you. The only reason I see the point for the iPhones is because I've seen so many smashed screens that
Right.
I don't understand how Apple can make a product that the screen breaks so easily. That baffles me because I've had Samsungs. I've seen people drop their Androids. Very, 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 very few times have I seen one shatter the way an Apple screen is from like a little half an inch drop. Mine, I mean, to show, I don't know if you can see it very well on this. I have a right here, this little mark that you can see. For those watching this on YouTube, you can see. That's when it was in my pocket facing outwards and I ran straight into a corner with my pocket. It took a
Wow.
chip out of the screen, which sucks, but that's it. That's all it is a small chip out of the screen. It didn't shatter the rest of the screen. The rest of the screen's still completely viewable. Like,
Well, I think I know the difference for maybe that phone in particular. I'm not exactly sure for all Samsung phones, but they might actually have hardened plastic versus iPhone, which uses Gorilla Glass 3, I think, for the new one. So for Gorilla Glass, it's pure, it's hardened glass, which makes it extremely tough, like diamond, but brittle. So like if you like hit it with a hammer, it won't shatter, but if you hit it at the right angle, it'll shatter.
I mean, that sounds kind of like tempered glass in a car.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if your phone was made of tempered glass and like you just tapped it just the right way and it was just like glass, like little teeny glass shards like going everywhere. That'd be
But
awesome.
so here's my thing. Won't they have like a rubber whatever around the glass? And it doesn't have to even be viewable. But when you drop it in the corner or whatever, it doesn't have that effect.
Like
So
shock absorbing bumpers,
yeah,
like a
like
car.
around the glass, right? But even still, let's say they can't get it so the glass doesn't break that easily. I mean, prevent it from breaking that easily. Why not make an option where you can replace the glass? Because it's not the screen that's cracked usually. Most of the time, it's the glass covering the screen that's really cracked to shit.
Right.
So, if they had like, let's say like some way you could just unscrew the top, slide out the glass, and put a new replacement glass, that would be a really nice option. I mean, I guess
Then they'd sell less iPhones.
I think Apple knows what it's doing. They're making their phones basically very breakable. And I'm just saying this theoretically. I don't know a conspiracy theory.
Well, I don't know if you worked there when I did, but when I worked at McDonald's, one of the guys left McDonald's to go work for Hollister, the clothing company.
Yeah.
And he said straight up during the orientation at Hollister, they told people that they expect return customers about every 3 months because that's how long the clothes are designed to last. And I'm like, wait, the most, like, at the time, like, Hollister was very expensive. Like, it's where everybody, all the cool kids are going to shop at Hollister. And it was like, the more expensive clothes are designed to last less long to drag in more customers. And that was the business model.
Right, and so people usually buy, let's say, a brand name because they think, oh, quality,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore it'll last longer. But I don't even know why Hollister would do that because overall, don't don't companies that are like higher fashion change their fashion every like
True.
3 months?
Very,
So it doesn't feel
very
like,
true.
oh, because like that's why they put I think Old Navy or the Gap or whatever, they put like the year of when that shirt sold. So like the next year you go like, oh, that was last year's Gap sweater, obviously because it has 1999 or 1998.
Can you imagine in 10 years from now, though, when they're selling the exact same sweater, that you're going to own, like, the same sweater, it's just going to have 2 different years in the tag because the fashions just come in, like, circles
Right.
and trends?
Well,
Does
I mean,
Hollister even still exist anymore?
not in Japan.
I don't know if I've ever seen one around here either. It's hard to tell what's a true real store around anymore in DC, though, because they got their own, like, subculture of everything. So,
Well, eventually, I think pretty soon coming to the States is Uniqlo. This is actually a Uniqlo shirt, which is sort of where I buy. It's sort of like the Gap slash Old Navy of Japan. It's where a lot of kids buy their clothes. And every single time I go into a Uniqlo, there's always like at least a few new shirts being sold that's like a different style or a different brand. So like they have a really quick cycle of changing their fashion.
well, we are fashion connoisseurs here on What Do We Know podcast.
Well, when I first came to Japan, what I really liked about Japan is, like, a lot of the students have to wear uniforms and stuff. But like out in the weekends, like you'll walk by a pretty crowded park, and you won't see people wearing the exact same clothes. And in the States, I always felt like, oh, you walk in a park and you see like, if you pay attention, maybe 6 different people dressed exactly the same, and you don't really get that in Japan. And I think that's because of places like Uniqlo where, yeah, you buy like this really cool shirt and then next month there's a different kind of shirt, and then in their closet it's going to be harder for people to match up exactly the same clothing.
But what if we want a match? What if I'm like, hey, Mark, put on that shirt. Oh, it's...
Well, yeah, I mean Japan and the rest of Asia, they really do love couple wear. Like I don't get it, but
Do they really?
yeah, they love couple wear. It's one of the easiest signs to tell that, oh, well, those are a couple of lovebirds because they're wearing the exact same shirt and pants and not exactly.
So if you go to like a club and you see this chick you want to hit on, you got to first scan for anybody wearing the same clothes. Okay, I don't see anybody that matches. I hope he's not in the bathroom, but I'm gonna go hit on this girl now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny. So, anyways, follow us online. WhatDoWeKnow.com. Or excuse me. No. It's Facebook.com/WhatDoWeKnow. That's the one that's different. YouTube.com/WDWK podcast. WDWKpodcast.com. Or email questions to WDWKpodcast@gmail.com. And since Mike wasn't here, we didn't get to answer any questions. I'm not sure if any came in since he's the one who handles the email. But we'll have more emails hopefully next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.